Hi everybody, I'm Shannon Heffernan, golf fitness and mobility specialist here at Dynamic Motion. Welcome to another 20-minute mobility session here today. We're going to focus on spine and hips again today. Those are two areas that we really need a lot of work for golf. So for today's class, the only thing you're going to need is a yoga block and then just a yoga mat if you have it. So we're going to start just by mobilizing the lower back a little bit in a seated position. So we're going to start with the knees at about 90 degrees, feet nice and flat on the ground. Now in this position, you want to make sure that that spine is nice and tall and that both sit bones are sitting nice and flat into the ground. So I don't want you really extended and I don't want you rounded. I want you to feel like you pull that spine nice and tall, crown of the head pulls up to the ceiling and chin tucks down. So I'm trying to elongate through my spine. Just take a couple breaths here. So in through the nose, out through the mouth. Even close your eyes here if you need to, and just with every breath out, see if you can kind of unweight and see if you can get a little bit taller through the crown of the head. So just lifting and trying to create some space through the spine. Good, deep breathing through the belly. All right, now we're going to slowly start to mobilize through the lower back to start, and then we'll move it all the way up into the upper back. So you're going to start with the sacrum here. I want you to think of that flat bone being kind of right above the butt. We're going to push that flat bone straight back. Try and keep that elongation through the spine. I'm going to push my sacrum bone straight back. Then I'm going to try and round through the next segment, and then slowly rounding through my lower back. Now, once you feel like you've basically rounded through the lower back, hold here and breathe. Try and feel like you're still staying long. Then I want you to grab the shins, and I want you to come back up to that straight, elongated position that we started with. So we're going to do two more like that. Sacrum bone pushes back, focusing on the lower back. You're going to feel the core engage here quite a bit. So sacrum pushes back, then the next segment of the lower back, and so on, till about here. Then grab those shins, hold and breathe. Grab the shins, pull yourself back up. We're going to do one last one. So again, try and feel sit bones grounded, nice and tall through the crown of the head, sacrum back. And then round through that lower back only. Try and stay nice and tall. Hold and breathe. Then grab those shin bones, pull yourself back up. Now we're going to go into two where we go all the way up through the whole spine, so right into the upper back. And we're going to go to the point where we feel like our arms are completely straight ahead, or completely straight, I should say. So again, nice and tall through the back, sacrum bone pushes back, staying tall, elongating, rounding through the lower back, rounding through the mid back, rounding through the upper back, feet staying on the ground, arms are extending, hold and breathe. Grab those shins, pull yourself back up so you'll feel that little bit of extension on the way back up. We're going to do that one more time. Sacrum pushes back, nice long through the spine, rounding through the lower back, staying long, rounding through the mid back, rounding through the upper back until those arms are straight. Pull that neck nice and long. Make sure your shoulders aren't up to your ears. You want to feel like you're mobilizing through the spine. Hold and breathe. Grab those shins. Bring yourself back up. All right. So now we've got the back a little bit warmed up. I want you to put your hands behind. We're going to cross one leg over the other. So you can lean back as far as you need to here. To feel the stretch though, You want to feel like this time we're going to arch your lower back. So I'm going to try and arch my lower back, sit nice and tall, and now I've got a nice stretch in through my hip. I'm going to hold here and just focus on deep breathing. If you feel like it releases a little bit, you can go into it a little bit further. This is a great stretch for the hip rotators for the golf swing. This is specifically external rotation. But working those hips is very important for a good golf swing. All right, we're going to hold here for a very light pales contraction. So my leg that is crossed, I'm going to push the shin down into my supporting leg using the muscle that's stretching. So I'm going to use my hip, I'm going to push my leg down into my supporting leg. I'm going to feel like I'm pushing my knee down as well. I'm going to ramp that up to 20%, 40%. We're going to hold there at about 60%. Now again, it might be 30% for you if you're new. Maybe it's your greatest, safest effort if this is something you do and you want to push that end range strength. Hold and breathe. Holding for a good 10 to 15 seconds. And then gradually release. Might allow you to get a little bit taller, a little bit more range at the end of that. Take your time slowly coming out of that position. We're going to switch, cross the other leg over, getting nice and tall into that stretch. Hold and breathe. Should feel a really good stretch, kind of right on the underside of the butt cheek, kind of deeper in the hip. We're going to hold here for a few more seconds. All right, and now we're going to start to push the shin down into the supporting leg. The knee is also going to push down slightly. We're going to start that at 20% push. We're using the muscle we're stretching, so you should be feeling like it's deep in the hip that's contracting. 20%, 40%, 60%. Hold there. We're going to hold for a full 10 to 15 seconds, engaging that hip. Again, these contractions at the end range allow us to use this mobility, allow us to create a stronger range of motion. And just relax, let that contraction go. We're going to uncross that leg. Now this one's going to be a little bit different. We're going to come onto our side. We're going to work the lateral line, the side of the hip, as well as the lateral line of the body. We're going to straighten the down leg. I'm going to have my top arm straight with my fingers pointing away. I'm going to bring my leg that I just nice and stretched out here. This is going to feel a little bit easier. I'm going to bring that leg up as high as I can and put the heel against my thigh. So I'm in a nice straight line, heels against the thigh, leg is crossed. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just slightly angle forward until I feel a nice stretch down through the side. So I'm basically creating a little bit of, I shouldn't say push, sink. So I'm letting my pelvis and my hip kind of sink this way down to the ground, and that gives me a nice stretch through the side of my body and the top of my hip. So we're just going to hang out here and deep breathe. I really like this as an option to lateral line. If you don't have something that you can really kind of grab onto nice and high, this is a really good lower lateral line stretch for the hip and lower back. Also a good stretch for the obliques, the rib cage. So on this one, feel a really big, good expansion of those lower ribs because you're going to get a little bit through the intercostals here as well. just gonna hold here for a few more seconds. Now this is just gonna be a stretch. We're not gonna pale rail this. We'll work on your strength in a different way with this one. I just find this one is a difficult one to kind of get a contraction in. Good, and then we're gonna relax. We're slowly gonna come down to our forearm. And then we are gonna work the strength on the inner thigh here on this bottom leg. So you can take that foot away a little bit from that crossed leg. We're gonna work your under leg. So you wanna make sure you're right on your side for this one, elbows right underneath the shoulder. We're gonna brace that core. We're gonna try and lift your bottom leg up here. So we're gonna lift that leg up and we're gonna hold. You can push this leg down through the ground and actually push the knee out a little bit as well. That'll help give you a little more stability. Hold here. You can go either pointing the foot or flexing the foot, up to you. And then relax, bring the leg down. We're gonna do a few of these. Then try and raise that leg back up. Hold. When you raise the leg, don't sink through the pelvis or the upper body. Try and really use that inner thigh to raise up that leg and hold. Hold, and then relax. We're gonna do it one more time. So try and really elongate this leg, raise it up, hold and breathe. Not an easy one if you don't work the inner thigh strength very often. Good, and then relax, bring it back down. Now we're gonna switch to the other side. Inner thigh is extremely important for golf to help with that internal rotation. All right, switching to the other side here now. Actually, sorry, we're gonna start with that lateral line stretch. So I've got my fingers pointing away, bottom leg is straight. I'm gonna really bring that front leg up nice and tight to my body. And then this is really about finding your biggest line of stretch. So for me, I kind of have to roll my pelvis forward a little bit. Kind of feel like I'm turning towards the mat and then angling my pelvis down to the mat this way. And hold and breathe. Again, really nice stretch. You should be feeling at the top of the hip, into the rib cage, lower back, side of the body. Just gonna hang out here for a few more breaths. You wanna get that nice expansion through the belly, the side of the ribs. Feel those intercostals if they're tight. I have a little one at home, so my right rib cage is quite tight and I can really feel it in there. But golf uses those ribs quite a bit in that rotation, so we wanna make sure that we have good movement, good mobility through the rib cage. Good, and then we're gonna relax, take your time coming down to the forearm. You can take that leg out a little bit from here, get into a good position here where you feel like you can lift that bottom leg, elbows underneath the shoulder, brace that core. We're gonna lift that bottom leg and hold. We're gonna hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lower the leg. We're gonna do 2 more here. Raise that leg up, hold. Breathe. 3, 2, and 1, and lower. One last one. Raise that leg up as high as you feel like you can raise it. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and relax and bring it back down. All right, we're gonna take your time coming out of this position. I'm gonna have you guys grab your yoga block, and we are gonna work on a really interesting rotation stretch. We're gonna work on lower body separation and upper body separation in this one. So normally you don't need a yoga block underneath your head, but because we're gonna be rotating to our side, I want you guys to start with that yoga block underneath the head here. From here, you're gonna go out with the arms. You can go palm up with this one. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna start by rolling to the camera so you can see this. So we're gonna bring one knee into the chest, You're going to feel the core engage a little bit here. I want you to think of your whole lower body rotating as a unit. Upper body stays still until it gets pulled over, okay? So I'm going to bring that knee in. Whole lower body is going to rotate. And then as it feels like my mobility is about to here, my arm is starting to come off the ground, I'm going to let that arm come with me, basically coming into an open book position. Then I'm going to reach the top arm forward. I'm going to do an open book from here as far as my upper body will go, and then it'll bring my lower body back. Okay, so we're going to do a few of those. So we're going to bring the knee in. We're going to do 3 on each side. Lower body rotates. Go as far as you can go, and then bring the upper body around. Reach forward, raise up, try and rotate the chest to the ceiling as far as the upper body can go. Hold for a breath, and let it pull the lower body back to our starting position. We're going to do that one more time. Knee stays tucked in. Rotate the lower body. Let it pull the upper body around. Reach. Open up into that open book. Hold for a breath. And then let it bring that lower body around and back to the start. And then we're going to switch to the other leg here. And this is where we're going to finish today. So we're bringing that knee in. Breathe in. Let that lower body roll to the point where you feel like you're not really holding on anymore with your upper body. Let your upper body come around. Reach. Open book. Hold for a breath, and then let it pull your lower body with you. And we got 2 more, so keep that knee in, rotate that lower body, keep the upper body still until it pulls you. Reach that top arm forward, open it up, hold for a breath, and let it pull you back around. Last one here, knee stays tucked. Rotate that lower body. Let it bring your upper body with you. Reach. Open it up as far as you can, turning that chest to the ceiling. Take a breath. And then let it pull that lower body back around to the start. And then we'll come on up from there. So that last drill, if you guys have any issues at all with separating your body, whether it's in your backswing trying to get rotation or better rotation out of the torso, or if you need to get better rotation out of the pelvis and the lower body, this is a really good drill just for your nervous system to figure out your body can move separately, your lower body can move separately from your upper, and your upper can move separately from your lower. So thanks for joining today for another 20-minute mobility, and we'll see you next time.